Hi there. Welcome back, Gino. I'll stop.
Good morning, everybody, and good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are, and welcome to Talks on Tuesday, where we will spend half an hour chatting among friends about various metaphysical and spiritual topics every week on Tuesdays. And today, I'm going to be a little confessional about my own ego difficulties. And it has to do with gratitude. And I thought that was appropriate because for many, this is a season of giving. And I'm trying to learn to give without expectation. And I find that particularly when I give gifts, I do give with expectation. And I particularly have some young relatives who never acknowledge anything. They don't say thank you. They don't write notes. They don't email me. And it offends me. And I get into those little bastards. Yeah. Or what are their parents thinking by not forcing them to be grateful? And, I learned long ago to do certain things without expectation, like travel and go on shopping trips or just trying to live with that expectation. But gratitude for me is a hard one. And I was just saying to the girls earlier that, damn it, I am so thoughtful. It's up to you to be grateful. And so it's hard. So I just thought I would throw that out there and see how you guys felt about it.
Well, I'm thinking that, I went through that a long time too. And gradually it went away. And I just don't do anything anymore with expectation. And I give freely. If you are, what do I want to say to you? If you think that you're going to expect something, then if you possibly can, don't give it until you get through this, because otherwise you're going to always have the same old round and round and round. And, as you know, I don't have to tell you, the world is not fair and people don't give in kind. They just don't. It's everywhere, even very nice people don't give in kind. And doesn't mean that they're not nice. So, yeah, it's a big one. And it's really freeing when you can release all of that.
Well, I hope so, because one of the worries is that this sense of needing their gratitude and wanting in some way to punish them, like, well, I'm never giving them anything again,
Mhm.
make me less generous, less thoughtful, and it would be like a protective coloration that, oh, I'm not going to set myself up again.
Mhm.
And it's disturbing, and I'm trying this year. I am punishing my young relatives by giving them vouchers for a charity to give to. They'll each get some money to donate to
Oh, that's
kiva.org, uh,
funny.
which is my favorite charity.
Yes.
And they're probably going, why? Why would she give us this?
Yeah, like what's she thinking? I'm not going to like this.
Yeah, right, right. But they probably
It's
won't
that
catch on.
having spent a lifetime teaching, I want to give them an object lesson, I guess.
One other thing, Mary, just by you revealing this to all of us and being honest, I think that's going to help you. That's a great thing that you're doing this.
Well, maybe that's why Catholics go to confession.
Oh my God.
Uh,
Oh.
and that's certainly how I was raised. Every, Friday night, my dad would say, "Well, time for you kids to examine your consciences so you can all go to confession tomorrow."
Oh, that's
I, of
funny.
course,
There
like
you
I was a
go.
very good child. I was making up sins and lying to the priest so that I could, have something to say during confession.
Isn't that a confessional thing right there? Lying to the priest?
Yeah, really.
I always tack that onto the end. And I lied.
Oh no.
Oh gosh. Well, I know what you mean though, Mary, about giving gifts of charity, because that's what Dean and I have done for a number of years. We would tell the kids to choose the charity that they wanted to, and sometimes we'd just choose our own charities if they didn't get back to us soon enough. The Lakota Law Center and at Standing Rock is a big one, and a couple others. And some of them, they decided where they wanted to send the money, but this way you get a little bit of interaction with them, and then they get a letter from the charity, and it's like, okay, it's done. I've done my part and it's done. So.
Can I just interject one more time? I'm doing too much talking here, but
Oh,
No,
no.
it
you're
just
not.
reminded me. I grew up Catholic too, and I did the confession, communion, the whole nine yards. And I remember one time, it's just a funny story. My sister and I were very young, and my dad took us to the church to go to confession. So we went first, and we were in and out of there, in a couple minutes. I swore once, I lied three times, whatever. And then my dad went in, and he was in there for almost a half an hour. We were wondering, what did you do? Oh my God, Of course, he wasn't going to tell us. So it was
That's
just so
funny.
funny. That was very revealing.
Yes. Well, it's funny because at that young age, I think you do your first confession before your first communion.
Yeah.
And you're too young to really know what most of these sins mean. So I thought committing adultery meant acting too grown up.
That's so
Oh,
funny.
that's great.
Yeah,
But a 6-year-old confessing to adultery, like,
that's so
Another
funny.
one of those language, those weird language things.
yeah, yeah. Or impure thoughts. I thought it was like thinking about garbage or, I don't know what it was. I thought,
Dirty.
yeah,
Wow.
it's really funny. But, there is something so magical about giving and finding that perfect gift, or imagining what it's going to look like wrapped, and the moment of opening and the surprise, which sets you up for the expectation of response,
Hmm.
which I guess it's endemic to the whole situation. But
I'm wondering, sorry,
oh, go ahead.
you weren't quick enough, Mary, in saying what you were going to say.
I was still formulating it.
I'm sorry. But I was just thinking about, I wonder what it would be like if you were there when they opened it, when they got their gift.
That's true.
I wonder if they would, automatically say, "Oh, thank you," or yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard when you're at a distance, because
Yeah,
you don't get any feedback.
yeah. I'm surprised, they text all the time. How old are the kids?
Oh, they go from 5 to 25. I mean, they're
Oh,
just nieces and nephews because I don't
wow.
know.
You have a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting to me. And I just when I give in the moment, like if I'm behind someone in the grocery store line and they don't have the correct change or whatever, and if I can help them out, I expect nothing for that. But it's not
Hmm.
these holidays, I guess, birthdays and Christmas and whatever.
It's
Graduate.
more personal,
Yeah,
because I was thinking the same thing about when you do something for someone, like uh all of a sudden, spontaneously.
yeah.
And yeah, you don't think about it. Makes you feel good, and you move on. But when it's family or people, your friends, somebody know, it's more hurtful. I mean, I can think of an instant where it wasn't about giving a gift as much as it was about, I felt I felt hurt because um, and this is here in my new home, this new friend in the neighborhood didn't come out and say hello. She was at my neighbor's across the street. I knew she was in there. And I thought, we're friends. Why didn't she come out and say hello to me? And I felt a grudge coming on, and holding a grudge because I expected more from her, you know. Why? And I finally had to let that go. And I know why kind of now, but uh without having to bring it up, because I was going to bring it up. Should I say something, da da da. And after going back and forth about what to do about it, I finally said, just forget about it, let it go, and we're friends, and so anyway,
And
that's
that's the
my
only way we can feel happier.
right, because we're the ones that feel like shit when we're
Yeah.
like that. We're the ones that are angry or hurt. It doesn't do any good for us, you know. And yeah, so true.
Yeah. That's reminds me also now, maybe I'm not 100% complete of all of this, but I live in a complex with 20 units, and in the middle there's a courtyard, and in the back is a laundry room. And so there's a woman and man that moved in the unit across the way from me. And the guy is extremely friendly, very personable, great guy. And so I was thinking, well, his wife or girlfriend will be the same. And whenever I would see her, I'd give her a big smile and say hi, and she would barely acknowledge me. It was very cold, you could
Mm.
feel the chill, you know. And and that happened like 2 or 3 times. And so finally I just said, well, I'm not going to be that friendly anymore, right?
Yeah.
So we're walking by each other and I go, hi, hi. You know? And I could see she got it right away. So she has improved. But the thing is, why was she so cold? It had nothing to do with me. You
Right.
know, I'm thinking, oh, because if you say hi to me in a nice way, does that mean I'm going to move into your apartment? What? You know, went that far. But so now, I mean, she's a little bit better now. But again, it has nothing to do with me. And I learned a lesson there. People aren't always going to be the way I want them to be.
Right.
Yeah.
And something
That,
very minor like that.
Yeah. No, I have a neighbor like that as well. And I just go, oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
right. Yeah. One time somebody said something to me, somebody who I just barely knew, but I was asking her about something. And she said to me something that I think she was trying to insult me, but it turns out it was actually really kind of a gift to me. And her comment was, something like, it's not always about you. And I'm like, oh gosh, you're right. Thank you so much. And it's like, just like your experience, it's like, it's not always about me. I'm the center of my universe, but it doesn't mean that the other people even are caring what's going on with my. So yeah, that's helped me step back a lot. And I am so grateful for that person for making that comment.
Great.
Because you never really know what the other person's going through, what's happening in their life, and it has nothing, like you said, Gina, nothing to do with you. It has to do with them
Exactly.
and their journey or whatever,
Yeah.
It's almost
Yeah.
never,
Hmm?
it's never about us. It's about their journey. And
Hmm.
it's just so hard to remember because here we are in ego. And what is, what does this show how they think about me? What does this demonstrate? And it's it's wrong thinking, but
And it's a waste of energy
Yeah.
yes,
on our
it is.
part, you know.
And a lot of it's conditioning, it's
Right,
so much of it is
exactly.
conditioning. And when you really get to the point where you're able to step back, and for me, again, I hate to keep talking about reconnective healing, but it is such a powerful tool in my life to help me be able to step back from a lot of that expectations and things like
Hmm. Hmm.
that. It's like, yeah, I can just realize I'm doing my thing, and the rest of them, that's okay.
I think sometimes we're placed here on earth to overcome our early years, in the later years. I remember my mother often saying, well, what will people think? What will people say? Don't what people might think that you are XYZ. And it was like ingrained that everybody was watching, everybody was judging, when in fact they weren't even seeing.
Mm,
Mhm. So I
yeah.
have, and because this kind of goes back to where you started out, Mary, I do think that there's a point though where we become used or taken advantage of. So I think there has to be a good, healthy balance between continuing to give without expectation, but then also just being used or taken advantage of. Um,
Yeah.
so at some point there has to be a healthy boundary, you know. You work hard for your money, or you have worked hard for your money. We all do. And there's a, aspect of etiquette and appreciation for the gifts that we get based upon the fact that what we're giving wasn't received to the person who gave it freely. It's kind of like when I think about our freedoms here in the US, what we have cost somebody their life. And I'm thankful for that. So I feel like there's a good balance. There's got to be a good, healthy balance somewhere.
Yeah. And there are kinds of giving, like the traditional yearly gifts for children or whatever is different from loaning somebody money or giving them a gift of money, and then they come back and they come back and they come back. Or you put up with bad behavior and you put up and you put up and you put up. In a way, accepting someone's bad behavior is a gift that is often not reciprocated with an improvement in behavior. So I guess this is like a huge universal problem, that it depends on how we define gift.
Right. That's true too. Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
And
mm,
go ahead, Jules.
well, I was just going to say, and I don't know if this wasn't a gift. So there's that aspect where when you talked about loan money to my cousin, and it was substantial for me, the amount, and she promised to pay me back, and she didn't, and I was pissed. So, you know, I ended up in the end, I mean, she paid me the way, for a while, and then finally I said, just forget it. And it ended up being part of it being a gift, and I learned a lesson. You don't loan money to your family. I mean, or good friends, or you have to um realize that you may not get it back, you
right.
know?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
that's part of the payback, is learning that lesson. But I
yeah.
think, and I understand what you're saying, Christine, and I totally agree. Everything has to really be imbalanced. But again, I look at why are you giving that gift? If you're just giving someone a gift because, oh, it's Christmas, I have to go buy them something, or if you're giving them a gift like, oh, I think I found this and it reminded me of this person, and I just, I want to give it to them because I think they'll like it. But again, I mean, it's why are you giving it to them, and you're fulfilling that need in you because you want to share from your heart. And so if that,
But like you said, we are not conditioned that way because we have expectations, even so, even when you feel that way, I mean, it's a hard pill for me to swallow to, I mean, it doesn't happen to me, fortunately, but when I think about it, if that were the case, I, would have a hard time not feeling like hurt or upset that somebody didn't acknowledge a gift that I gave them, even just like a little text, thank you so much,
yeah.
you know. But yeah, this is a good topic.
It
Yeah.
is a good, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
I would have to support the idea that why is it that I choose? We always have a choice. I have to
Mm,
emphasize that. We always have a choice. I'm not obligated to buy gifts for anybody if I don't want to. And I have to say that on the other side of that, I have a family member. I love her dearly. She's like a sister to me. And she always buys me gifts and sends me things in the mail and little packages and tea bags and things for, birthdays and other occasions. And I know that she has absolutely, my best interests at heart. And I do appreciate that she's taken the time to choose something and, pack it up in the post and package it and take it to the post office, etc. But oftentimes it's never something I can use, or it's never something that is really my taste. And I really feel awful. I feel really badly when I get one of these packages and I open it up and I think, oh, I'll never wear this. I will never wear this. So I had to say to her more recently, maybe it was last year, something arrived in the package, in one of the envelopes, and I opened it up and I tried it on. It was size 0. Well, I'm not like huge, but I don't wear size 0. And I said, it's really a lovely vest as it was. I said, but it's size 0 and I could never wear it. I said, do you have someone else in your family like younger than I am who maybe could make use of it? And I do have to emphasize, I feel really badly that I'm not able to receive the gift, because I know that you go to a great deal of trouble to try and find something and feel good in the giving. And it's not that I'm not receiving it or I'm not grateful. It's just we have different tastes. I have so many little trinkets that I've stored away that have come from this one person. I've never worn any of them.
Right.
And I never mentioned, before that it wasn't something that I would ever wear. But part of me feels like giving it to charity or something and hoping that somebody else might appreciate and think it was wonderful or make use of it, because I really can't make use of it. And I really have to say that, I go to a lot of trouble to choose the right thing for somebody. Like I really agonize a lot about what I'm buying for somebody. And I go to a great length to make sure that the package is like exquisitely wrapped. And I go watch YouTube videos and I do Japanese wrapping and I get really into the whole thing. And when I hand it back to someone that I've spent like a ton of time making pleats and whatnot on the paper, and they kind of rip it all apart and they don't even comment on the wrapping, I just feel like saying, give that back to me.
You're right.
You don't appreciate that at all. But I know what I put into it, and I put into it with love, whatever it is that I choose to create for them. And if they don't understand or they don't get it or they don't acknowledge or appreciate or say thank you, I have people in my family that have sort of cut me out, and that feels really shit. It really feels badly. All of a sudden the door just gets closed on you. You don't know why, and they don't talk to you anymore. And it's not about a gift, but I kind of wonder, what did I do? Did I do anything? And then I think, well, they're entitled to live as they choose. If for whatever reason they don't want to have connection with me right now, that's fine. I don't dislike them. I don't hate them. I don't feel, ill will toward them. I just think, okay, I guess they have a different agenda than mine right now. So be it. That's fine. Live and let live. I try not to be resentful, because that hurts me more than it hurts them. And yeah, so I'm happy to share whatever it is that I choose to share with whomever I choose to share it with. But if you're going to be, an ungrateful scab, then you don't deserve me. You don't deserve my efforts to package it and send it in the way that I do, with much care and attention to detail and thought. And
I'm sorry. It just seems to me that it's all about love and it's all about ego. If we want to live in love, we have to dismiss the part of us that has expectations. And I was just thinking about a gift you reminded me, Renee, of this gift I received from my brother and his wife, and they knew that I liked English literature. So, but they weren't sure what books I had read. So they gave me this very strange muffler that had the first chapter of Jane Eyre printed on it. And it was this it's a long chapter, and it was this voluminous muffler. And the first chapter of Jane Eyre is fairly disturbing. It's about it's loneliness and sadness and child abuse. And it's like, what do I do? And yet I knew it was kind of thoughtful. They were trying to get me something they thought I would like. And yet I thought that very thing as I was putting it in the Goodwill container. I thought they will appreciate this. And it's funny, we do try hard, but sometimes it's like what Barbara does. I would be much happier if they just said, I will give a donation in your name to whatever
Yeah.
charity you want.
Mhm.
It's just so funny, all of these. I was telling my counselor last week that if we were successful, if we made the earth a better place, if we got to the point where there was peace and love on earth, then it would not be a very good place to go to school for a soul, because there would be no curriculum.
Mhm.
So living in this troubled world in and the vicissitudes of personality, this is the best place to go to school, and we're brought these lessons.
Yes.
Enough said, maybe.
Yeah, that's actually it, Mary. It's like, a lot of times we know what to do, but actually doing it is a little bit of a different story. And being able to step back and look at the bigger picture.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of a muffler, I just have to insert this real quick. My girlfriend gave me like a scarf, and it was this mustardy kind of awful yellow green. I don't know what it was, and there was just I didn't like it, and so eventually I just told her. I said, she goes, I love that color. I go, here, you have it. But we were good friends and it was okay. It worked out, and I don't think she was insulted because, we had exchanged gifts for years and but it was funny. It was funny. We both laughed about it, because we would bring it up, the color, as years went on. And anyway.
Well, this has been really an interesting conversation. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Looks like we have about 2 minutes left if anybody has one sentence they want to share.
Yeah, I do. I just, in the spirit of this conversation, I just want to make sure that all of you know that I thank you for your comments. Thank you.
Huh?
Thanks, and Christine?
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to say that my dog's been snoring, so if you guys can hear it, it's not me.
Well, you look wide awake to me, Christine.
Well, I just wanted to take a moment to wish all of you a wonderful and joyful celebration with whomever it is that you celebrate. I'm Jewish, I don't celebrate Christmas, but I hope it's a good gathering of like-minded souls and that you enjoy each other's company and remember what really matters, just together and sharing, and leave the personality stuff out in the hallway or
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Renee.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Renee. Yeah.
It's a season of light in the midst of darkness for all of us, and I'm happy for that.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We'll see you next week.
Well, if you're gonna watch on YouTube, happy holidays to you and all our love.
Bye-bye. See you guys next week. And it's nice to have you back today, Gina.
Thank you. Thank you.